Oh, we're live? How true is that? New Year fresh. Hmm. Okay, hopefully that changed. That switched things up. Made things a little bit better. I'll fix it later. Hopefully this is a little bit better. A little bit embarrassing, but you know. Let me create a poll. Welcome. Subscribe. Like. Chat. And tell a friend. Start poll. Booyah. Okay. I should be streaming. We'll see how things are on restream. I basically started another stream just because YouTube was giving me grief. Is everything good? Yeah, everything is good right now. Alright, I'll do all the cleanup later. Uh-oh. That's not what I wanted. Here we go. So. Okay, so. In the middle of the coloring, I realized how bad my theory was. I was just grabbing and copying and pasting and whatever the colors from the references to everything, and I realized once I have everybody's their own individual color palette, then it's going to end up being a complete muddied mess, and I need more cohesion than that. So I revert back to what I usually do best, and I like copying and pasting because I don't know how to do anything else. So I remembered about this website called Colors that just generates a color palette for me, and I'm just got bad with color theory. So what I'm doing right now is choosing any of these three color palettes that I just randomly that's just been randomly generated, and I'm gonna choose one that has the feel, that goes with the feel. And I honestly like the first one up here. Ah, golly jeez. I like the first one. It's muted. It's nice. It has like some sort of elegant charm to it, and that I appreciate. So, I think what I'm going to do is start with the background to get a good feel. Let's just copy and paste everything. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I think a good background. Oh, I'm on. I hate coloring. It's awesome. Now it's up. A little bit late. Maybe that's something up with Restream. Rejoice, it is for the 4th of July. Okay. Kind of like the idea of the characters being green. So I'll have this as like the base color, right? Okay, so here's how I'm gonna go about it. Before, it was like this. It's nice, but I don't feel like there's any cohesion. and I don't trust the process enough. Silly me. So instead, I'm just gonna, oh shoot, I gotta add color to literally everything. So instead, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm trying to find a good balance. Overlay looks good. I think what's interesting, actually I should try to do something else. Here's the thing, I really feel like that's kind of boring when it comes to coloring, and that is just doing stuff like this. Unfortunately. But okay, so here's the thing that I want to try out. It's been a while since I've colored, so let me try doing, oh, there's this thing that I remember. It's a correction layer, and it's a gradient map. That's what it's called. And then I would, within the gradient map, I would choose which gradient I would do. Okay, so this would be like the darkest, right? And this would be considered the lightest. What the heck happened? Yeah, that'll be the darkest, and this would be considered the lightest. Something like that. And that's a good, maybe I can add something, a mid-tone to the mix and see how that is. Right now it's just coloring. It's just a experimentation. I think this is pretty fine. Okay, so this shows that the background has more of a influence. This just makes the shadows darker, right? Maybe I can add a little bit of highlight areas to make things a little bit pop a little bit. Because the one thing I noticed that I'm bad at is color theory, and I'm not sure what is a good way to approach stuff like this, right? Let's see. I think this applies to everything in the background too. And with them, I guess I can try to make them stand out a little bit more, like altering stuff like that. Maybe even making it a little bit lighter. One thing that I don't like so far is that the characters kind of look like statues, right? You get what I mean? Let me do that to the characters things. But I'm trying to figure out what can I do? What's probably missing? I'm thinking local values. Because I have all the basic things. So if I just add like a little bit of local values, that'll make things stand out a little bit more. Let's try that. Hold on, what is this? Oh, see if I try that with normal. Nah, that don't look good. I'm not gonna delete it because there's something there, you know? a little bit difficult. But let's see what I can do with it. I think it just goes back to this, right? Or maybe I do something on top of it. I really have no idea what I'm doing right now. I guess this is pure experimentation. The people who are really good at I like envy the people who are like good at coloring, or at least have an idea of like what to do. The reason why I stick with like black and white usually is because I don't have to deal with it that much. So I'm thinking, how would I make all of these colors feel just cohesive to one another, you know? It's kind of annoying, but I guess I'll start off with this then. Let's probably move around with that. Like, how do people get like a great color palette with a just limited colors? Something I'm stuck on. Or maybe I should stick to this for the time being. I also don't like how that looks. Let me switch it up a little bit. That feels a little bit better. This has been a very weird ordeal when it comes to coloring. Like, I want to try to go for a limited color palette, but I don't know. My knowledge of it is just goes so far. Of like how learning or knowing how to implement it. So right now I'm just like testing things out, testing saturation, testing all these different things to see like what's good, what sticks. And like having a set color palette is actually, let's try this actually. Let's try this. So the gradient map. Okay. Let's bring this back. I think what was terrible about this gradient map right here. See if I can, instead of taking that away, I can mess with the values a little bit more. Yeah, just take this gradient away. And mess around with this. And see like what I want to be a darker hue and what I want to be a lighter hue. Instead of focusing on color, I can focus more on hues. Or the closest value. So like a lot of the heavy lifting has been done for this character specifically. So if I stay around like the base value, this character can have it's when I get to the hues, then this character will be able to stand out a little bit in its own way, in her own way. So if I make the colors like a lighter hue, or like that, maybe if I make this part of the fur like lighter, and make the eyes just completely white out of the aesthetic of it, because the eyes are usually where the audience look towards. It's a learning process that you just have to try to take as you go. And I want the eyes to be similar to the fur in that regard, like this. I want the ears to be a little bit lighter. So this character will look way more interesting. Because right now I've just been blocking. I think I've been skipping steps in order to get to the place where I want. And I'm like, then I realized, wait, I can't do that yet. I can't add the color yet because I haven't made the character interesting in her own right, in her own like circle yet. In her own like stand up outish way. And that's why things just haven't been coming together as much as I want. It still feels flat, like a statue, because the values are all, the local values have just been the same. So if I change that, then it should look different. It should look better, just on the merit of it being a grayscale. In grayscale. Like, I think with this, this can probably be like a little bit darker from the 48. Just have a little bit of muddy. The one thing that this is pretty much a practice. This might be look a little bit muddier, more muddy than it should, but I'm trying to make it look a little bit different. Make it pop in its own right. If it succeeds, then it succeeds. If it fails, then I will have a learning experience. You know? You really just can't stress over if something's gonna look cool or not. Yeah, I think that's a little bit interesting. A little bit more interesting. And for the bag, I can give it this kind of value as well. There we go, check that out. Now that looks a little bit more interesting. I like that. Let's try this one. She has the same local value. Like, she's closer to the camera, so her local values are a lot darker. I don't think she needs to have strictly white eyes, honestly. I think looking close or looking in, probably. Let me zoom out a little bit. I feel like if I zoom out or keep things zoom out, I'll see everything work together and more in a unison than isolated. So if generally it's like that. I guess for me personally, I like to work when working grayscale upwards. Wait, hold on. Let me see if everything is fine on the live front. Okay, cool. Everything is fine. I think I'll try out streaming a little bit more. And then if things stay the way that they are, no hard feelings. It's just the way the game goes, just the way that how things go. Moving interests. I think I should assign the darkest value to this character, and that should probably be 50. Right? I don't think for any of these characters it should go... No, 75. 75. Like for the characters closest to the camera, they can have darker values, but the elements farther away, it can have lighter values. So this will be the darkest. Yeah, these will be the darkest that these values will ever go. Let's try that theory. Right. Okay, so everything else I can just feel out what feels cool about it. Actually, with this midsection of the body, let's make it the second darkest thing. You know what I mean? And the plight of color is really its own thing. It's kind of crazy. Let's make its fur a little bit darker. We can at least try that. Or maybe do less work and make it lighter. Hey Roblox player, what's going on? Nothing much. I got the notification of the drawing you did of my icon. It's pretty cool. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's good. It's good. Right now, I'm trying to figure out the best way to color something like this. Right now, I'm seeing. It feels like maybe doing like something's closer, something like what I'm doing right now. It's probably like a good idea, but I'm just trying to make this look visually appealing when I block everything out. I think they call this local gray values. And before I was working on this, I was looking at some just generic videos on color theory. And I was like, I can't understand this. What the heck are you talking about? Color theory? More like snooze fest. But yeah, now I'm like trying to figure out what's. But I think I remember when I was in high school, I remember reading that if something looks appealing in grayscale or black and white, then you can just add color to it. And then, hold up. And then it would look good. A little bit better. These are not the final colors. I'm just like checking things out. Because I want to go with this color palette at the top right here. and then I'll figure out how to add from there. Like my biggest problem after I added like the shading was the fear of just it was just the fear of just having the characters look like stones. And I realized, oh, the reason why it looked like stones is because there's no other values to work with. Because stones don't have color. They have values, but they don't have, like, different, not hues. Hues. But they don't have variation of saturation, I guess. Hue and saturation, I guess. That's what I'm trying to look for. So until I learn like how to make cool colors just from the drop of a hat, I'll use my crutch as much as I can. And also I don't want to what do they call it? I really don't want to be tied down to a color palette. It's like everything's black and white. Nobody has a set color palette anymore until I'm actually bothered to do so. I think I'll have give characters color palettes when I'm making promotional material, like merch and buttons and whatnot. But outside of that, nah, doesn't matter. So like things like this, because there's so many characters and their colors will clash the more I put them on screen, the more things will just get lost in the sauce. So my theory is my theory is just try to work with what you have, I guess. I forgot my train of thought. Sorry. I lost it. Silly me. But I hope everybody's enjoying their 4th of July if they're American. And if this is just a overall science stream, then I can always try later. What is this? 80. Let's see if I could put it down to 50. No, that's just too much. This might look better, honestly. guess I'm calling this the Purgatory Academy method. Also, this feels really good, right? I'm now able to stream without any hiccups because I finally found out how to utilize my settings correctly. You know what? The lights of the fur. I guess I'll make the fur darker. So what's this? Let's make it around 68 or something. A little bit darker. So they won't leave the background. Actually, no, this is fine. This is fine. But I have stayed as long as I can with this stream. Y'all enjoy your 4th, all right? Take care.